Hey guys, Mubarak here of inpennystock. In this episode, I'm going to cover the top 3 trading strategies that work the best now in 2019. Okay, there's several different ways that traders are able to make profits, and I'm going to run you through them so you understand, regardless of your background or experience, where you stand and how you can be a successful stock trader. In this video, I'm going to go over pump and dumps, the double catalyst rule, and as well as a new rule that I've found works really well in this market, which you'll see in the video. So stay tuned. Let's hop into the video. In this episode, I'm going to discuss the best stock trading patterns, right? What are the strategies that are working today for you to be a successful stock trader? There's a lot of different methods that people use when they're trading, so that way they are able to strategically maneuver and manipulate their pricing action. And what that means essentially is you can either go long, short, or a variety of the two in order to make profits. All right. Over time, the stock market got pretty, I don't want to say complicated, because the more you participate, the more you'll understand. But if you feel any type of intimidation or nervousness or anxiety about trading, that's totally okay. All right. The system has set it up in a way, Wall Street has spent billions of dollars on marketing to make it seem very complicated. They want you to pay them their commission fees, their percentage fees, their management fees, in order for them to operate your money. And you know what? On the higher scale, if you're a multi-million-dollar or billionaire entrepreneur and you have tons of funds, it's worth it at that time to give 1 to 2% of your profits to another, advisor, because at that point your time is better suited. But if you're like most people, middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class, whatever, trying to figure out how to make money, trying to support your income, you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, this method and these stock trading strategies can really help you get comfortable with making profits in stock trading, okay? Because it's not a complicated science. It's not something that requires you to have insider information, and in fact, that's illegal. But the whole key is understanding what are the methods that people are using that are working today, okay? So the most classic one is pump and dumps, all right? That is what the penny stock markets are all about. That's where they came about from, probably in the 80s even, when companies were going public. And to be honest, probably even before then, there was all these manipulation schemes that got popularized. As probably what you've seen in Wolf of Wall Street, where people were essentially pumping stocks, right? They would buy a cheap stock, pump it up to a large value where they felt that they could get a profit off of, and then they would end up dumping it at the top. And in the meantime, everyone else is kind of left holding on to the stock. So let me show you kind of a simple example of how that looks like. Okay, this is finviz.com, really cool stock screening platform. And the reason I like it is because a lot of the times it gives you the news as well. And it'll tell you how the specific news impacted the stock price around that time as well. So, if you've ever wondered, what influences stock prices, this is it right here. News is always a major factor on how stock prices move. All right. And another popular platform that I use, this can sometimes be a little complicated if you're new to trading, even though it has a ton of information. A great platform also is TradingView.com. That's another great platform. That makes it really easy to kind of dive a little deeper into the stock. So let me show you kind of the basic concept of a pump and dump. Actually, XNET is a better example of it. If you look at XNET, it's one of the stocks that are currently being pump and dumped right now. Take a look. What you see here is a price chart. All right. Hopefully, if you're been watching some of these videos, you're familiar with it. But if not, I wouldn't be too concerned, because all this is shows you the change in the price. Well, let me move this a little out of the way. All it does is it shows you the price at a certain date. So if you see here on the right side, these are all price points, US dollars. At the bottom is the date. That's all it is. And so what you're seeing here is that in the past, even XNET somehow got pretty much pumped up all the way to 20 something dollars, $25 about. And then it got dumped over time. And so what must have happened around this time, around October 9th, you can see on the bottom, 2017, a lot of websites, promoters, and stock email lists, right? So if you've ever Googled, pop stocks or penny stock alerts or tips, there's hundreds of these websites, penny stock alerts or penny stock hot, hot picks. If you Google this, you'll see that there's tons of websites that are basically asking you to put your email in, right? All of these guys, and these are all basically just for the most part, all pump and dumps. These guys collect hundreds of thousands of people's emails. They'll have, see, look, you can even see kind of the spammy nature of the site, very old school. What they'll do is they'll pretty much just showcase, it's always easy to look in rear view and see, oh, these guys got the best picks. And what they'll do is they'll send you an email on what are some great stocks, and that's when they're pumping it, right? Because they're either being paid. If you read at the bottom of the email that you'll get from some of these stock sites, at the bottom they'll have a large disclosure in small font saying, oh, we're getting a payment in order to disclose this or promote this stock, right? We have a certain percentage of shares. And so they're pretty much telling you that they're pretty much just manipulating the price. But a lot of people, who are not advanced traders or just beginner traders, you probably have fallen victim to this or know someone who has. They'll just end up buying the stock price randomly because they think, the stock market is a lottery or it's gambling or just some sort of mysterious force that they think that they just have to get lucky with. And really, that's not the case. Once you spend some time watching our videos, if you check out in Penny Stock University, you'll start to learn that there are very simple strategic methods and patterns that happen over and over again. So this right here, this pump and dump, this is the most popular strategy, okay? And what we utilize, so pump and dump, right? That's the first trading strategy, but I'm going to give you guys two very special rules that I've been able to popularize and have had a lot of success with my students, now over 50,000 across the world. And just in general, what's working in our chat rooms and our VIP group is the double catalyst rule, okay? That won't necessarily work with this stock because XNET had a different circumstance, but I'm going to give you an example of a stock where the double catalyst rule really showed a large gap up, right? So the cool thing is if you go to finviz.com, it has a lot of information on the front, all right? So what I do is I'll go to this website. Sorry, the internet's a little slow here. I'm actually in the middle of traveling. But FinViz ends up having a lot of information on their homepage at the end of the stock market. What are the top gainers, top losers, and all of this information about different stocks. So what you can see here, though, is that certain stocks, after a certain piece of news comes out, this is a bit lower margin, but the double catalyst rule is basically taking two different parts of a stock trade or of a stock and using that information to make sure that you're going to get a good amount of profit here. So let me show you. Here it's very easy to see that the pump and dump tactic has been used on this stock as well. And what you see at this bottom bar here is volume, okay? That means volume is this fancy word for how many shares were actually bought and sold that day. So clearly, if you see a large, and if it's green, that means there were more buys that day. If it's red, that means that there were more sells this day. And so the interesting thing here you can see is that there was a ton of volume out of the ordinary that happened on this day that caused this spike up. So what you have to make sure, though, and the reason it's important to understand stock trading rules is to make sure you're never caught in the middle of holding up here, right? So the best way to profit is to make sure that you get the gap up and you're able to sell before it kind of crashes. And this actually is it's a great chart, actually. And I'm going to open it up here because I want to show you guys another stock trading strategy, right? So I had the double catalyst. And now what that basically means is, a lot of the times people think that just because of one piece of news or one contract or one action, that the stock will go in that direction, okay? And so, for example, let me give you an example. Apple. Some people think that, hey, listen, Apple is going to announce a new iPhone at the end of the year, right? And so, oh, I should definitely buy Apple because a lot of people are going to get excited about Apple once that conference happens or once they launch that product, right? Now, you would think mentally that that makes sense, but unfortunately, the market as a whole is all psychology driven. And so, what that means is that if you had the idea, I bet thousands of other people had that same idea. And so, that concept of, hey, 6 months down the line, the iPhone is going to release a new version, I should buy today because the price will go up later. There's tens of thousands of traders that think the same exact way. And so you need to be what you might end up seeing is that around the times that Apple ends up doing the user conference, the price of Apple might actually go down all of a sudden. And a lot of times traders get confused at that, like what is going on? There's some great news and the price of the stock is going down. Penny stock trading is garbage. But really, that's why we talk about the double catalyst rule, because news is just one certain catalyst. That's called fundamental analysis, right? When you're looking at the stock, understanding what they do, how they're trading, that's understanding everything about the company. When you're doing day trading or penny stock trading, utilizing a lot of the strategies in this video, you're not really that worried about even what the stock or the company does. All right, there's 6 and 7 figure traders that are able to just trade simply by looking at these charts here and watching the news, because the news is still important, but not knowing anything about what the stock does. Okay, and let me show you exactly how that could have happened in this trade specifically. So let me see, Hoth right here. So what you can see right here is a great example of how to protect yourself while trading. And now, some people are always wondering, how can you tell when the price of the stock is going to go up or down? And that's a key aspect of one of the trading strategies, which is understanding support and resistance, right? One of the main, and I'm sorry if, I'm throwing a lot of different strategies and terms at you, so make sure that you rewatch this video so you kind of understand it. And I'm going to do a part 2 of this video that will drop actually on Wednesday, because I want to really go into detail of the different strategies, right? So we're going to conclude this video talking about the double top, and that'll help you understand technical analysis, the support and resistance, right? So what you can see here actually is at 721 or so, the stock price hit there and then went all the way down for some reason, and it was crashing. But the interesting thing is you can see in the past that there was also an exact point like that. All right. And so that is going to happen all the time in stock trading. So I would have never bought this, even during the gain, right? I would have never bought this because of the double top rule, which essentially means that if you're doing day trading, now usually the double top rule applies in a smaller interval. If you can see here at the bottom, this is a large trading interval. These are over multiple days. But the double top rule would apply something more in, say, the 1 day range, where if we take a look at the stock price, I'll be able to tell when it's going to shoot up or not, based on how the stock is priced at. So I'm just loading up the $1 one, the 1 day one. But right here, what you could have seen is that this was, I guess, even the 5 day, right? This was kind of just on an up peak right here. But the whole thing is a concept called a high on the day, right? 52-week high. A stock price will usually stay within the barrier that it trades within. The only time it's going to go out and break out, right, is when there's a catalyst that happens, which is when there's a new high on the day. So right here, again, we were confident looking at the double top rule that it went up to here and then it went down. And now it went here again. If it was to have broken this price point, you could feel confident and buy it. That's when you should set your alerts on your stock or your trading platform that, hey, let me know when this stock Hoth, this is the ticker symbol right here, goes past this point. Because only once it breaks that point does it become, quote unquote, the Wild West, right? Now there's a new high on the stock and the people are having confidence, or there's something going on in the market that's causing the stock price to go up. If it doesn't go there, then a lot of people wonder, like, hey, why didn't I, couldn't I have made money here? Sure, if you were interested in getting short, small profits, but I wouldn't have bought this because it didn't pass its prior peak. If it doesn't pass the prior peak, that means people don't have confidence in it, and people are just at this point setting their sell orders to be able to lock in a lot of profits because that was the previous high. Okay, and at this point it goes down. So, I want to really go into depth about this because these stock trading strategies are important. So I'm going to be doing a part 2 release on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. But in this video, we briefly covered pump and dump stock trading, the double catalyst rule, and the double top rule. And I'm going to go more in depth about other stock trading strategies in the next video. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below, or you can email us at admin, that's ADMIN, at inpennystock.com. And yeah, hope you guys like this. I want to make content that you guys actually enjoy and understand. So definitely let me know if you have specific questions and we'll answer it tailored to your trading style and strategy. Take care.